Welcome to the Wise Guides. I'm Evie. I'm your host, and I'm also a first-gen professional with over a decade of experience in corporate HR. I'm here to provide you with practical guides on how to increase your wealth and your happiness at work. Whether you're feeling like an imposter in that new job, juggling a million responsibilities, or just trying to get your foot in the door, this is your space to find real, no BS advice, hear from people who have already been there, and maybe even laugh a little along the way. So grab your coffee or your glass of wine, settle in, and let's dive into today's topic. You are exactly where you need to be. I am so glad you're here with me today because today we're diving into a topic that hits really close to home for many of us, and it's how to rebuild confidence after you lose a job. Because let's be honest, job loss is really hard, and it's not just about losing a paycheck. It really can feel like you're losing a part of yourself. So if you've ever been through this, or maybe you're in this moment right now, unfortunately, I want you to know that you're not alone. This episode is for you if you're feeling lost, if you are doubting your abilities, if you're wondering how to get back on your feet after a job loss. So we're going to unpack why job loss shakes us so deeply to our core, what's really happening behind the scenes from an HR perspective, and how you can start reclaiming some of your confidence one step at a time. Here's what I promise. By the end of this episode, you're going to feel empowered. You're going to feel equipped with actionable steps and reminded of your worth, because job loss doesn't define you. It's a chapter in your story. It's not the whole book. All right, so let's get started. Let's talk about why job loss matters so much. Losing a job is one of the most emotionally draining experiences you can go through. That's right. It ranks right up there with divorce and moving in terms of stress, and for a good reason. Because there's first the identity piece. For many of us, our jobs are tied to our sense of worth. Especially if you're a first-generation professional and you feel a sense of accomplishment attached to your job. Losing your job can make you feel like you were never really good enough and can make that imposter start knocking at your door. When you meet somebody new, what's one of the first questions they ask? They ask, what do you do, right? So when that's suddenly gone, it's easy to feel like you've lost a part of who you are. And then there's a financial piece, because of course, job loss isn't just emotional, it's also financially terrifying. We have bills, we have rent, we have mortgages, and these things don't just stop just because you're unemployed. That financial pressure can make you feel desperate, which, let me tell you, it's not a good mindset for job searching. Finally, there's the emotional toll. Job loss can feel personal, even when it's not. You'll start replaying the situation in your head, wondering, what could I have done differently? Why wasn't I enough? And if you're scrolling through LinkedIn or Instagram and seeing everybody else announce promotions and new roles, it can just make you feel worse inside. Here's the thing. None of those feelings, shame, fear, self-doubt, are unique to you. They're human. And the more we talk about them, the more we take their power away. Now, let me give you a little behind-the-scene look at what job loss can look like from an HR perspective. This might surprise you, but often these decisions about layoffs or terminations have nothing to do with you or your performance. Maybe the company is restructuring, or the department's budget has been cut, or leadership changes direction. From personal experience, I can tell you that the hardest part of my job was letting go of really great people because of circumstances that were beyond our control. One of the hardest days that I have had in my entire career was waking up knowing that I have to facilitate a layoff the next day. So if you've been laid off, I want you to hear this. It's not a reflection of your value. Companies make these decisions all the time, and these are not all personal. It's not about you. So now that we've talked about the why, let's dig into the struggles that people face after losing a job, because feeling these things, I want you to know that you're not alone. The first struggle is shame. You might feel like you failed in some way. Even if the circumstances were completely beyond your control, that shame can stop you from reaching out for help or sharing with other people what you've been going through. And doing this alone is not the right way to go about job searching. The second one is fear. Fear of the unknown. You might worry how long it's going to take to find a new job, whether you'll have to settle for something that pays less or doesn't align with your goals completely. And then there's self-doubt. This one is a little sneaky because it shows up. It's that little voice in your head, that imposter syndrome saying, maybe I wasn't good enough. Maybe I don't deserve that kind of job. Maybe I don't deserve better. And of course, there's comparison. We can't help it. And sometimes when we're scrolling through social media, we see all these success stories, all the highlights of people's lives. And we just sit there thinking, why does everybody else have it all together? Let me tell you that those successes are just the highlight reel. No one's posting about the rejections that they get or the nights that they cried of frustration, maybe even the job loss that they had before they got to this great milestone in their career. If any of these resonate with you, I want you to pause. Let's pause. Let's take a deep breath. These feelings are normal and they don't define you. And they definitely don't determine what happens next in your career. All right, so let's shift gears. It's time to talk about solutions. Let's be solution oriented here. How do we rebuild our confidence and actually move forward, especially after a job loss? Here are 5 steps that you can take. And each one of them is something you can start actually today. The first thing to do is to reframe your narrative. The first step to changing the story is to tell about this experience. Instead of saying, I lost my job, say, I'm transitioning into something new, because the words that you tell yourself actually matter. What you want to do here is you want to write down 3 things that you've gained from this experience. And I know sometimes it's hard to think about the positive that you gained from a negative experience, but it's important to think about that maybe losing a job is giving you an opportunity to transition into a new field that you've been wanting to experience for a while. It's an opportunity to get out of your comfort zone and to try something new. Maybe it's clarity about now what you want next in your next role, or a chance to develop resilience and become tougher in your next battle. The next thing that you can do is you focus on your wins. So when self-doubt starts to creep in and imposter syndrome starts to knock on your door, counter it with some evidence of your value. You have some value. You're adding value, whether in your previous roles or in your future roles. You want to list your accomplishments. There's an accomplishments log on my site where you can download that and start listing out some of the accomplishments that you've had either in your previous job or once before that. You want to include specific metrics. Maybe you increase sales by 15%. Or maybe you worked on streamlining a process that saved the company $10,000. These are things that you want to write down so that you can take a look at some of your accomplishments. It becomes almost like a confidence journal where you can see things that you've been able to accomplish and where you've been able to add value. The next thing you want to do is build a routine. Routine creates stability, which is exactly what you need right now, because not having a job takes away the routine of showing up to work every single day, whether it was from home or driving into an office every day. So you need to create a new routine. Let's do this as quickly as possible so that you don't just sit there and wallow in the fact that you no longer have a job. So let's set up a schedule. Let's set up a schedule that involves job searching, skill building, and self-care. Maybe first start by going to the gym in the morning every day, something different, something new. Maybe go to your favorite coffee shop that's in town and dedicate 2 hours to job searching and maybe 2 more hours to skill building so that you can get some certifications on LinkedIn. For example, spend the first hour of your day updating your resume, then take a 15-minute walk to clear your mind. Building this routine is crucial in this step in between jobs so that you can feel like you're doing something productive and you're investing in yourself. And next is actually investing in yourself. So upskilling yourself. This is a great time to invest in your professional development. And before you use the word invest and think that you're going to have to be spending a lot of money, you can invest in yourself in ways that don't cost you anything. You can go to your local library and find some skills that you can take, maybe some new books that you can take out. You can go online to LinkedIn Learning or Coursera because they have tons of affordable options and even free options that you can use. These are great ways to get certifications that you can demonstrate your value to a new future employer. And the last thing you want to do, and probably the most important, is you want to network. You want your next opportunity to come from your network because it'll be based on the relationships that you've developed over the last few years. You want to reach out to 3 people, maybe former colleagues, maybe mentors, or even somebody new on LinkedIn. Let them know that you're exploring opportunities and ask for advice. And before you do that, if you feel uncomfortable just reaching out and asking for advice, try to develop a relationship. Grab coffee with somebody that you used to work with. Try to reach out to mentors and see what they've been up to in the last couple of years. See if there's any opportunities where maybe your 2 worlds can collide. And even further, you can reach out to them for advice. I know this process can feel overwhelming, but you don't have to go through it alone. Sometimes having somebody in your corner to guide you and cheer you on makes all the difference. Here's where I recommend that you shed some of the shame that you can be feeling based on the situation. Job loss is very common, especially in this day and age. So don't do it alone. There are many resources where you can reach out to individuals who are going through the same experience currently. You want to ensure that you surround yourself with people who understand what's going through your mind and all of the different aspects that are tied to losing a job. The more that you surround yourself with people who can encourage you, the more that you will feel like you have a clear action plan and you can land the job more quickly. So let's wrap things up so you can get back to your job search. Today, we talked about why job search is so challenging, the emotional toll that it takes, and the practical steps that you can take to rebuild your confidence. Here's what I want you to take away, if nothing else. Losing your job doesn't mean losing your worth. It's a moment of transition, not a permanent state. You have the skills, you have the experience, and you have the resilience to come out of this stronger. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with somebody who might need it. And don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. It helps more people find the podcast, especially those who are going through job loss. And just like that, you've received your dose of work wisdom. I hope you're walking away with something that makes you feel a little bit more confident, a little bit more seen, and a whole lot more capable. Remember that the journey is yours. There's no one right way to do it, and it's okay to take it one step at a time. If today's topic hit home for you and you're thinking you can use a little extra support, I'd love to chat one-on-one. Head over to the show notes so you can figure out how to book some time with me. And if you enjoyed hanging out with me, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any future episodes. And if you're feeling a little generous, please leave a quick review. It can help more people like us find the show. Plus, I'd love to hear what you think. Let's keep the conversation going. Follow me on Instagram at WorkWiseGuide.